Live in Reno, Nevada for the 2004 International Association of Square Dance Callers. The session is entitled Creative Mainstream.
Good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing? Good. How you doing, Mr. Mazziotti? Didn't Dick Mazziotti do a nice job of emceeing last night? It makes the evening go faster when you have somebody competent up at the head table making sure that everything goes faster. Finally, we have comprehension. How y'all enjoying the convention so far? Is it good? Good, good. Well, don't send me any complaints because I'm not here to listen to those. I'd like to introduce myself and then introduce the person up here. My name is Vernon Jones, and I'm going to be the moderator for this session, which is called Creative Mainstream. On my right, doing most of the talking this morning, is Randy Dougherty. You may have noticed that in your program, Jerry Reed was scheduled to be here, and unfortunately, Jerry probably won't be able to make it because there has been a convention emergency arise. And when I say emergency, I know how the rumor mill goes out, and I don't want anybody going out thinking that Jerry's in some kind of trouble. There's a convention-oriented emergency that has arisen that he has to take care of, and it had to be taken care of at this particular time. You know, like it couldn't have been taken care of yesterday. So how convenient that it's being taken care of today. So Jerry will probably not be able to be here. I want to remind you of a few things that they told me to remind everybody about. Remember that there is no smoking in the meeting rooms. This session is being taped. Therefore, after I do just a short opening kind of a deal and turn it over to Randy, I will be monitoring this microphone. And if you have questions and or comments, raise your hands in a nice fashion. I will bring you the mic because everything that we've got to do has got to be over the microphone to be able to be on the tape. As Mr. Jacobs said in the opening session yesterday morning, tapes that we have to listen to have really neat answers. Unfortunately, we never heard the questions, so we don't know what the answers are pertaining to. So if you have questions and or comments, just raise your hands. I'll bring the microphone to you, and then we'll be able to get everything on tape. Before we get started, you know, one of the things about being creative with the mainstream program, or any program for that matter, is that we need to learn to think, well, the old term, outside the box. Hopefully everybody here that came to this session has something to write with and something to write on to take notes with. So I want to do a little exercise that helps us with our creativity. On a piece of paper, I want you to draw a series of 9 dots, 3 across and 3 down. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time doing this, but please just take just a few short minutes to go ahead and do that. One, two. Is most everybody ready? Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to connect all of these dots, and I'm going to give you some guidelines to use, okay? Here are the rules. You got to use 4 lines, okay? Where one line ends, another one must begin. Does that make any sense? Such as if this line comes down here and it ends right here, the next line's got to start at the same place. So where one line ends, another one begins. And all the dots have got to be connected. Okay? Now I'm going to give you just a few seconds. Go. The rules are one line goes down and another one begins, and there's got to be 4. Most everybody done? Anybody having trouble doing it? Mr. Kenny? You don't have for the tape's purposes, Ernie Kenny doesn't have a pen. If somebody has a needle and can prick his finger, then he can write it in blood. What'd you come up with? Elmer, I know you got yours. I know that you've got yours also. How many look like an arrow? Can everybody see this from up here? I don't have a felt tip pen, and I wished I did. Can everybody see that? Can y'all see that? Does that make any sense? Can you see that, Ernie? Huh? Can everybody see that? What's the first thing that I did that looks unusual? I went outside the box. Did I say that you couldn't? No, the only rule, I gave you the two rules that were available, didn't I? And that's what we do, is that we put self-limitations on ourselves whenever we're trying to be creative in anything. You know, the first thing we want to ask is, after we hear the rules, we want to start asking, well, are there other rules that we have to abide by when we already know what the rules are? So when you're trying to be creative and when you're trying to think of these kinds of things, don't put self-limitations on yourself. A lot of times when we're being creative, we think that we have to come up with the most hardest and intricate choreography that we can possibly think of, and while that is a viable part of being creative, that's not the only way we can be creative. A lot of the things that we do can be very simple. The first thing that comes to mind are singing calls. And singing calls today, if you get the tape services or listen to them, or if you read Tom Rudebach's description of the singing calls in American Square Dance magazine, all the singing call figures are all the same. And one of the complaints that square dancers have is that square dancing is boring to them. And the reason it's boring to them is because we're doing the same thing over and over again. For an example, practically every singing call that comes out starts off with a head square through. Okay? Well, the first thing that I think of is I'm going to try to think of something I can do other than square through. Okay? And I'm sure most of us have probably done that. But I have found nowhere written on a singing call where it says the heads have to go first. You know, why can't the sides go first? You should try that at your dances sometimes, letting the sides go first in the singing calls. That's different feeling for the dancers. Now, then if I did let the sides go first, then did the middle break, and then let the heads go, and I did that all night long, what would soon happen? They'd get used to it, and then it would become boring and mundane for them again. So what you've got to do is, once you find something that's different and easy to do like that, is to not get in the rut of doing that over and over again, because there's nothing in the rules that says the sides can't do the first figure and then the heads can't do the next one. Now then, I've had people come up to me and say, callers mostly, that said that's not a good thing to do, because if the heads do the first figure and then the sides do the second figure, then the lady is doing the figure twice in a row. The head lady's going, you know, the head ladies, if we do the heads first, the head lady's doing the figure once, and then if we do the side couples, that same head lady who has now become a side lady is doing the figure again. And they said, that's no good. Well, my answer is, well, when you do the heads twice, who's doing the figure twice there? The guys are doing the figure twice there. So if the guys can do it twice, well, then why can't the ladies? So in your singing calls, just take a little time and, you know, let the sides go first. That's different. That's a different feeling for them. I've already touched on singing calls. Most singing calls today have the same figure. Most start off with a head square through. I've had people tell me that the reason that they use heads square through is that gives them time to think about what they're going to call next. And my feeling on that is, if you have waited until that particular moment to start thinking about what you're going to do next, you have waited entirely too long. You know, so have we ever wondered why the dancers, when we say head square through, do that little clappy thing and then turn around and face their corner? Is everybody aware of that? Have you seen that? They clap, 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 slap, 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 and then turn and face their corner. There's probably a jillion reasons why they're doing that, but I can guarantee that one of them is not because they're having too much fun. If they were having, you know, can you imagine that? Well, we were just having way too much fun with square through, so we had to start doing this because we just couldn't stand it anymore. Well, the reason they're doing that is because they've gotten bored with doing square through over and over and over and over again, and they have to come up with something to make it interesting for them until they get to the swing through or the do-si-do. So try to find something that can equalize a square through, and there's a jillion of them out there. Another example of that we can change things without being too hard is grand square. Sides face grand square, we hear it a jillion times, but the definitions say that the caller can designate another couple to face. So why in the world can't we use heads face grand square? Because when we use heads face grand square, we're simply doing the second half of a sides face grand square. is the only difference. When you do a side space grand square halfway through, you're at the same starting point as a head space grand square. So when dancers say we can't do that, we'll say yes you can. You're just doing the second half first and the first half last. That's a different sound, different feel for them. So try to incorporate some of that. Also, while you're dancing, whether it be patter or singing calls. In square dancing today, there's way too much what I feel like right-handed choreography. Dancers are walking around and pivoting on the same foot all night and then wondering why their right leg is killing them. We have left-handed choreography starting with the mainstream program, and it's there to utilize. So utilize it. A lot of callers are afraid because it gets out of their comfort zone. You know, they're familiar and comfortable with head square through and then meet the outsides, and usually with a do-si-do, and then swing through and boys run and Ferris wheel. And centers pass through, and of course that puts them right back with their corner, and they're comfortable with that. And they say, well, I'm not comfortable with left-handed choreography because I can't do things like that. Well, the mainstream program has left square through on it, so have the heads left square through, and then with the outsides do a left swing through, and the girls run left and Ferris wheel and centers pass through, and it's the very same thing, and it's a completely different feeling for the dancers when they're doing that because they're going in a different direction. Of course, the same holds true that if you were to do that all night long, then they'd get used to it and bored with it, and then pretty soon they'd start doing the clapping. So try to incorporate some left choreography into your programs. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dougherty, and I'm sure that he is going to wow you with his contrite, complex, and succinct choreography. And the thing about that is I only know what one of those words means. That was it.
He touched on a few things that I want to go back through about talking outside the box, because most of us do not do that. But a lot of times when we get creative, we go past that limit of creativity too. We pass beyond the threshold where almost everything, if you do this all night long, being too creative, every tip becomes like a toughie tip. And the people go home and they're exhausted from their brains being overused. So you gotta know that you got limitations on things. And in the beginning of this, most of the time we think about guys that are doing sight calling or modules or whatever memory routines, and everything is symmetrical. We have never really gone and explored the non-symmetrical type things that we can do. And I'm going to come back to non-symmetrical in a little bit. But to start off with, some of the things I want to do that I consider creative is with brand new dancers, the very first night of lessons and so on. Because if you can be creative with them, you can be creative with the other people. And so some of the choreography I'm going to talk about in the beginning is for like newer dancers. Okay? Take, for instance, the do-si-do. We do that at our beginners. We tell them they have to be doing it with the one they're facing. Usually you'll try to do some timing, telling them if they're in a static square, it's going to take more for them to do the do-si-do than if they just turn and face their partner in do-si-do. But if they know what the rules of do-si-do is, you can easily add to it and get creative by saying, as couples, head couples do-si-do. And you can do this with brand new beginners, and they're going to walk through it. Or you can stay in a static square and said, just the head men do-si-do. Go back to your home spot. You can get away with doing that. Head ladies, left do-si-do each other. Get them so that they understand that they don't change their facing direction. Sometimes then after that I'll say, side girls, stand behind your guy. Look at his backside. And then I tell them, the name of that is, side ladies, stand behind your guy and look at his backside. And then I say, okay, side boys, you're the truck driver. Side girls, you're the 18-wheeler. You're the semi-trailer. Now, this is a C1 concept, but I tell them, in tandem, the sides, do-si-do, the other truck driver. And you're having fun with them and creative, just doing do-si-do. Then do it where it's more like a wheelbarrow effect, too. You could have the girls, for instance, head girls, fold over and face your guy. They don't know fold, but maybe you've used that word. Now you tell them, girls, head girls, go over and stand and face your partner. You just did a little introduction of fold that you're going to use, 5 months down the road. Now, girls, extend your arms. You're a wheelbarrow. Do a wheelbarrow do-si-do around the other group. Completely different, okay? Circles. We usually just circle 4 and we circle 6. Do we circle 6? Very rarely do we ever circle 6. We circle 4 or 8, or one-on-one, single circles. Lots of times when I'm doing my beginners, I tell them a circle is of 2 or more people. I'll say head couples and the side ladies, circle 6. And you ought to see what they do. Now, if you do that for people that have been dancing for 5 years, they're not going to do anything yet. So you got to be careful how you say it. If you say side guys in your corner, circle, what could you end up with there? It could be circling up 4 was the answer, or it could be a single circle one-on-one. So depending on how you deliver it, if you wanted the side guys and your corner, circle 4 is the way to say it if you want 4 circling in the middle. Or you could say side guys in your corner, one-on-one, do a single circle. Go all the way around, come right back where you were. So you can get creative by saying those extra little hint words. Expanding on the circles, going to lines, circle to a line. Usually we always end up with all the heads lead to the right, circle up 4, make a line. What if you just did it one couple at a time like we used to do in the olden days when Flippo was starting out with the traveling days? Number 1 couple, bow and swing, lead to the right, circle up 4, make a line. You can get them doing that very easily and just get one line of 4. Then take that line of 4 with you. Go on to the next couple, lead to the right, circle up 6. Number 1 couple, break again. Now you got a line of 6 and you're looking at me. Go forward 6 and back. Take that line of 6, lead to the right, circle up 8. You can make a line again if they know about that rule, about the break and how the line's going to be facing and everything. What if you just said head couples, circle to a line? Anybody know what's going to happen? First of all, they're going to say, what? But the rules say you circle up 4 halfway and the designated person breaks. So if you just say circle to a line with the heads, you're going to have to designate number 1 man break or number 3 man break. You could have the line so that it's either facing you or have your back to you. And you've really expanded circle to a line to be a lot more than just the normal. If you have lines of 4 and you're facing, now this is going beyond the limit in my estimation. If you have lines of 4 already facing another line of 4, and you say, and you've done, the head men are on the end of the lines, let's say. So we got a 1P, 2P line. And now you're going to call circle to a line. You've just crossed over the threshold. You've gone beyond the limit. Because now they're going to end up, anybody know the formation? Raise your hand, we'll bring a mic around. You're going to run for me, right, Vernon? What's the formation if we say circle to a line from there? I didn't have a hand. I'm waiting for an answer. Raise your hand so it can come around. Way in the back there, somebody's got an answer, Vernon.
Please state your name and where you're from and give your answer.
Monty Montgomery, 29 Palms, California. Based on your scenario, out facing lines, if the designated...
No, in facing lines to start with.
You're in facing lines?
You're in facing lines, and you're going to call circle to a line and the head
facing
break.
Lines?
No, it's not facing lines. Up here, Bob. Back there.
Keith and then Bob.
Keith Ferguson, Saratoga, California. I believe it's called a windmill line. It's a line of 8 people with half the line facing towards you and the other half facing away from you.
I think you're right, but I don't know if you consider them facing me or not. If you had the heads lead to the right, circle to a 4, it might be facing sidewalls. Bob, what's your comment?
Okay, you circle halfway around the first thing you do, and then you've designated who's going to break.
So we said the head
and that person breaks, and then you've got lines. Everybody knows you're going to have lines. They're both going to be facing in, if you want to call in, whatever the line is. But if they take one step forward, you'll have a big 2 couples facing this away and 2 couples facing that away.
I think that's what Mr. Ferguson's talking about. So it's like a windmill line or a 4x4 line. It's a tidal line of 8. Because not only when you circle to a line, gang, also there's the person that breaks doesn't stay on the axis they're on. They're supposed to be stepping forward. So really when you have 2 lines that are face to face, the axis between those couples is the long tidal line. Now if you call something like that, you're going to end up with a bloody mess. I'm not suggesting you do that ever, unless you got C3 or C4 dancers, and then they might throw stuff at you anyway. So, but there, it's just a place to think about doing it. If you're in 2-couple dancing, it's great to practice circle to a line, because there they don't have a reference point if you're only in 2 couples in a square. And that's circle to a line stuff. Doing the circle up 6, circle up 7 people, circle up 5 people. Think of some choreography that you can do that'll work that way. Going into ladies chain. When we do ladies chain, lots of times we know a head ladies chain, side ladies chain, the 4 ladies chain. That's pretty much working within the box. What if you said head ladies chain to the right? That's some old choreography that not very many callers ever use anymore. And if you called that, would they make it? Usually not. But you could warm them up by, again, getting them into lines of 4 and saying the 2 girls on the ends of the line, raise your hands, diagonally chain. If you warm them up and you show them now a new word, diagonal, because you haven't probably used that a whole lot. If you have the end ladies diagonally chain, the center 2 ladies diagonally chain, now you got them going for the diagonal. Okay? Have you ever done 4 ladies chain from a line of 4? If you call that ice cold, they're probably going to go 2 at a time straight across. But now, since you've shown them their diagonals, you can say 4 ladies chain from those lines of 4 that we're looking in, and you're going to have a higher success rate. Because usually in a 4 ladies chain, you want to give them hints. Hey, it's a star. All 4 girls, it's a star. They'll make it. Play with that word, introducing a new word, the word diagonal. You can expand on your choreography a lot with that. Or introducing another new word like leader. We don't use the word leaders and trailers very much at beginners till we get to the word zoom. And then some of us don't even use it then correctly because then we start using the word center. Boy, if you say the word center, you've already messed up that dancer for quite some time until they get into the plus or advanced program. When you're using the word zoom, it's leaders and trailers. And so perhaps show people what leaders and trailers are. Do your box 1-4 and touch a quarter and say the leaders, you turn back. If you don't explain to them who are the leaders there, you're going to have a real nightmare on you. But you can also make it like a game. Call it that way for the first time. Do your touch a quarter and the scoot back and the boy run and everyone pass the ocean and everybody hinge and the leaders, you turn back. And then wait to see what you get, and then give them the hint, go forward, up, and back. If the leader that did not turn around correctly, they're going to catch it, and they'll be able to proceed on. If I was going to do, for instance, from that box 1-4, if I said, girls, on the diagonal, pass through. That's another call called jaywalk at the higher level. But you could play a game with it. Say, hey, girls, on the diagonal, pass through. The name of that is girls on the diagonal, pass through. Make them do a U-turn back and then say boys on the diagonal, pass through. Tell them the name of that, boys on the diagonal, pass through. Maybe later on, if this was not brand new dancers, maybe if it was a mainstream club that was dancing with experienced dancers, you might tell them, hey, that's a jaywalk. Because they understand what the word walk and dodge is. Now you're telling them what a jaywalk is. So introducing a new word. If I was going to be doing an introduction of where I was doing a diagonal jaywalk or a diagonal pass, the place to do it would be from boxes or 8-chain through setups. If you do it from lines, you've created a possibility for some of them to go wrong. If you have lines of 4, normal, and you say girls on the diagonal pass through, there's 2 girls in the middle between the 2 boys that might be diagonally going on the center now. So, again, gauging, preparing, know where they're going to maybe make a little hiccup or a little mistake, and prepare them for success. Okay? For instance, if you said, head ladies, chain 3/4, side men courtesy turn them, they'll do that. But, again, that's kind of working outside the box. We haven't done that kind of choreography before because what happens? The boy gets what? 2 girls. He gets lucky. He gets 2 girls. But just have that gent roll 1 girl away, and we're back where we can call Alaman left right away. Lines of 3 go forward and back. You don't have to worry about much. Have the lonesome men, do-so-do. Lonesome men. Belly bump the other guy. Be creative, and give them a little bit of fun. Then everybody Alaman left. Next time I do it, I say, side ladies, chain 3/4, head gent. That's your corner. Give them a hint. Turn that one. Roll her away. Go forward 3 and back. Now, depending on how much they've had, go a little deeper. Lines of 3, pass through. Girls trade to the other end of your line of 3. Lonesome men, do-so-do. Now, the line of 3 is now a wave of 3. You say, in the wave of 3, remember, start with your right, swing through, turn right, and the girls turn left. Lonesome men pass through, turn to the right, hook onto that wave of 3, and everybody recycle. They're really one position off. They've added a phantom spot, but I guarantee you at Mainstream Plus and even in the advanced group, they'll make normal boxes for you. And you've got a little bit of creativity there. And you haven't done anything unsymmetrical, just a little different. Doing that same sequence, instead of having the head ladies chain 3/4, what if you do it this way? Head ladies lead to the right. They're there already. Instead of having that guy courtesy turner, just say head lady lead to the right, split that pair, turn to the right, go around 1. You're right there with the same setup. Lines of 3 pass through, do a U-turn back. Lines of 3 touch a quarter. Those 6 extend. You're back to a column. You haven't really done anything. If you're a sight caller, you go back through and you're fine. If you do some unsymmetrical things, you can do unsymmetrical things without really getting into a real deep puddle by saying just number 1 lady, face your corner, box the gnat. Now, there's only 2 people that have changed. That number 1 lady and the number 2 guy. And then call some of your routines that you've used forever. Your chicken plucker routine, how to get them into lines and how to get them into convert the lines back to boxes. But always be aware that you better not use sex calls. Because if you use sex calls, you're going to be in troubles. But if you use ends and centers, those kinds of things, you can easily call the square. So if you've done that, number 1 lady, face your corner, box the gnat, square your set away. Heads go up to the middle and back. Now, the number 1 boy has the number 2 boy. Number 3 guy has his original girl. So you say heads, 3 roosters and a chicken, square through 4. And they get a little kick out of that. And there's only one person that's learning something maybe a little different, and that's that number 2 boy. But now they're all looking at the corners, right? Do the chicken plucker thing, but don't do sex calls. So instead of doing a right and left through and a dive through, you don't want to certainly do that. Do a square through 3. Now trade by. Now they're over to the other side. You got to bring them back to the other side. Do a swing through and the ends U-turn back and wheel and deal. Now they're on the outside. Now pass through and trade by. And now we're right back where we started with the box 1-4 setup. The only difference is there's 2 ladies looking at 2 guys. Call the star through and expect them to do a regular star through. That's going to put 1 quadrant facing the other quadrant back to back. Or front to back, I should say. Front to back. Say, those who can, square through 3. Now go and say, everybody bend the line, and you're right back to a 1C, 2C type line. Now you can go to a get out from your corner line, square through 3 again, everybody look for the corner, Alaman left. And it's just a routine that you should have probably called 100 times with the chicken plucker thing, but you've changed 2 people around. What if you change more than 2 people around? What if you say number 2 couple, face your corner, box the gnat, square the new set away, do some memory routines again, but leave sex calls out of it. Don't do until you're ready to resolve. Don't say boys run or girls run or any of those kinds of things because you'll get trouble. Here's a little routine that I've used for a long, long time, and I want to show you how you can kind of, again, go beyond what I call the threshold. Working on the diagonal, if I've done diagonals, heads lead to the right, circle up 4, make a line. Everyone's in lines, go forward, up and back. Heads on the diagonal, do a right and left through. If you've told them what the diagonal word is, they're going to make it. Sides on the diagonal, pass through. Couples circulate. Bend the line. You haven't done anything that's going to be unsymmetrical. You just got that word diagonal in, okay? And then you could expand on the diagonal. If you have lines of 4 looking in, you could say, head ladies on the diagonal, flutter wheel. They're going in, and you can expand that. You don't want to do calls that are going to be shape changers there. You don't want to say sides on the diagonal past the ocean because now you've really created a mess. So don't do shape changers. Going back to the diagonal, this is a little gimmick call, and I've used it 100 times. I'm going to show you how I expand upon it depending on the program that I'm doing. 1 and 2, do a right and left through. Same 2 ladies chain. Now, if you just called it like that, you're probably going to lose half the floor because they haven't heard 1 and 2. They heard 1 and 3. So you're going to say 1 and 2 on the diagonal. You might even have them raise their hands. Do a right and left through and the same 2 ladies chain. Now, the number 2 lady's at her home spot. So now say, number 2 lady, chain to the right on a new diagonal. Chain with that girl that you see. Okay? All the heads, positions, and you should say head positions because now there's maybe a side lady or a side guy standing there. New head positions, go up to the middle and back and roll away with a half sachet. Everybody wake up number 4 couple. They haven't done a darn thing yet. Number 4, walk across. Get nose to nose with that number 2 spot. Hold on to them. Drag them back to your side of the square. And everybody, a la man left. And that's a gimmick I've used for 30-some years. And what I do with it at other programs is expand upon it. Number 4, instead of having number 4 go across, face number 2, and drag them back, I might say number 4 couple promenade around the outside halfway. Stand behind that couple number 2. You guys, put phantoms in front of you. Double pass through with nobody. Leaders, zoom back. The other couple, California twirl, right back where we started from. But you created a new word, the phantom thing. And to mainstreamers, that's like working with ghosts. And it's a little creativity there. Going beyond one step further, what if they were advanced dancers? You can say, number 4, again, promenade around the outside. Stand behind that couple. Put trailers in between that couple. Now you got a boy and a girl and a girl. And then say the line of 4, pass through with phantoms. In that line of 4, depending on what program you were doing, you'd say centers trade and explode the line, and we're right back looking at the corner again or adjacent to the corner. So you can expand upon it depending on your program. You might have that same setup and explode the line and left chase or something like that. Here's another little gimmick that I do. 2 and 3. Do a right and left through. And the same 2 ladies chain on the diagonal. The new side ladies chain, or some equivalent to that, you could say sides reverse flutter wheel. Side positions, roll away. The number 2 couple, walk across, split that position, go around 1, make a line of 4. Now you got a line of 4 in the number 4 quadrant. You got the number 3 couple looking at the number 1 couple. Say number 1 couple, take a small step forward. You got to say that, or it doesn't quite work what I'm going to do, and you'll see why in a minute. Number 1 couple, who are you? Take a baby step forward. Number 3 couple, walk across, face that couple. What I need to do is have them do something that is an equivalent to a square through 4. And what I have them do is usually a right and left through, step to a wave, explode the wave if we're doing plus. If not, do a right and left through and a star through and a pass through. Now, there's a new couple looking at a new couple. Those new couples, would you square through 4 or some equivalent to it? And then if I'm working with somebody, there's one hell of a mess on the floor right now. And then you say, take it, Tony. And the dancers will do just what you're doing there. And he'll, and I did that to him. I told him what the answer was. I told him what the get out was. But we've even, because we work together with each other now, we've even expanded a little further. The get out is girls fold and a la man left. But he'll say, when I say take it, or again, working with my sister, I'll say, take it, Dee Dee, and she'll look at everything, and then she'll say, balance, you take it. And then I'll say, boys fold, you take it. And then she'll say, star through, you take it. And then I'll do the get out, girls fold, a la man left. And you just kind of expand upon it.
Randy?
Yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry,
Vernon.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but would it be appropriate to ask to get a square up? Maybe we could see how some of that flows. And
It'll be all right if we have a biological square. Sometimes you'll lose it if you have callers, 2 guys dancing. So if we can get a biological square.
Can we have a square up of 4 men and 4 ladies? Because I myself would like to see how that flows.
Okay, you want to do that last one that I was just talking about? Okay, couples, 2 and 3, you're on a diagonal, identify yourselves. 2 and 3, do a right and left through. See, I should have warmed them up, shouldn't I? You know how you can do that. If callers can't do it, how do you expect your dancers to do it? Go back and tell your people, dance those first 2 or 3 lessons, give them some practice with who the number is before you go on and show them how to bend the line and swing through and girls trade and boys trade. Give them some fun with number 1 couple, do this. Number 2 couple, do that. Number 3 couple, do this. Number 4 couple, lead to the right and do that. but change it around so that it's not the old type traveling dancing where it gets boring to them. Make them be listening to you. Same two ladies chain on the diagonal. Now the next one was the side ladies chain, and if you just say side ladies chain, you might have problems. You need to say side positions. Let's do a reverse flutter wheel. But notice I've done a ladies chain there, okay? Side positions, roll away. Who's in the number 2 spot? Walk across, split that couple, go between them, go around one, and make a line of 4. Stay that way. Number 1 couple, who are you? Take a baby step forward. Number 3, walk across, face that pair, do a right and left through. Those couples star through. Those people pass through. Is there a pair looking at a new pair somewhere? Now you probably saw what I was talking about, the baby step. If they didn't do that, they could be one person offset. Okay? Now, the new pairs, I need an equivalent of square through 4, but if these are plus people, I'll do it this way. Do a right and left through, those who can. You people, step to a wave. Those people, explode the wave. Take it, Vernon.
Balance.
There it is. Boys fold, you take it.
Star through.
Girls fold. And you guys have already messed me up. Take it.
Alley man left.
Now, the reason what happened right here in the star through and the boys fold and the girls fold, I think you're number 1 couple over here, right? These girls should not be like that. We should be offset a little bit, okay? So go ahead and do an alley man left and come back and find your original partner. Depending on how deep you get with it, where's your original partner? Swinger. All right. So most of the time, if you're going to do girls fold, boys fold, those kinds of things, you got to remember that when the person's doing the fold, the other person doesn't move, and that's what happened there. Okay. So you don't want to go too deep. Okay. Do the one before that. 1 and 2. Do a right and left through. Same 2 ladies chain on a diagonal. Now the number 2 lady still in her home spot. Same number 2 lady chain to the right on a new diagonal. Chain with that girl that you see. I said the heads roll away, but I'm calling plus dance tonight. So heads pass the ocean, head positions, and you better say head positions because this guy over here is a head, isn't he? So say the new head positions. Those people explode the wave. Now they haven't done the roll away yet until I have them do a U-turn back away. Now they've done the roll away. Okay. Number 4, promenade around the outside the wrong way. Go halfway. Stand behind that couple that you see. Who's in front of who there? Zoom. Those people work with phantoms that you don't see. Work with the ghost. Double pass through. Go all the way through. All the way through. You got to keep saying that. Lead couple, California twirl. Everybody wake up. Alley man left. Come back, promenade home. Okay. Working outside the box now. Here we go. I got to remember who's who here. And this is the thing about doing unsymmetrical stuff. Instead of working just 4 people, you got to memorize 8 people now, okay? Couples 3 and 4, who are you? 3 and 4 do a right and left through. Head positions, touch a quarter. Walk and dodge. Circle up 4, make a line. Somebody break. Go up to the middle and back. Who are the old heads? I mean original heads. Because you say old heads in Mesa, they're going to throw things at you, okay? Old heads do a right and left through. Sides do a square through 4. Original heads square through 2. Everybody trade by. Swing through. Boy run around the girl. By couple circulate. Notice I got all the heads aligned up again, okay? Bend the line. Pass through. Bend the line. Pass through. Lots of times when you have this kind of a setup, you can get easily out of it by saying, isolate something. I started this out by saying 3 and 4 do a right and left through. I might do that same thing to get back out of it, or I could say as the line of 4 facing me, the line of 4 facing me do a couples trade. When I just isolated a couples trade, when I did that, that might have cleared up the problem, but it still hasn't. Okay? Bend the line. Pass through. I'm still lost. Bend the line. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Here's all my heads over here, isn't it? Okay? In the middle, do a right and left through. The far box, now I've just created a new word. the far box of 4, the furthest box from me, what all of that box do is zoom. And the center box have the boy walk and the girl dodge. And the dodging girl, you turn back, veer to the left, couples circulate once and a half, bend the line, they're back home. You did some unsymmetrical things, but you did, original head ladies chain. I'm sorry. I wasn't paying real close attention. Do something like that again, and we're going to change it. 2 and 3, do a right and left through on the diagonal. Heads lead to the, or head positions lead to the right, veer to the left, bend the line, pass through. Remember what I said about the line of 4 facing me? Right now, this is going to work, and it's going to take out that unsymmetrical thing I did. Let's have the line of 4 furthest from me do a couple's trade. That just took out the unsymmetry that I did. Bend the line, and now we're back in symmetrical. We can align left from here or go on home, okay? Circle left an eighth, and are you home? Now, here's an example of getting into the unsymmetrical stuff, going beyond the threshold. Number 1, couple, stand back to back. Separate, round 2, make a line of 3, hook on. Those 6, go up to the middle and back. Adjacent same sexes work as couples, and you 6 reverse flutter. You've gone beyond the threshold, okay? So now you got 4 against 2. What are you going to do to get out of that? Anybody, you got to be thinking out of the box. What can we do? Take it, Vern. Number 3 couple, they haven't done anything. Number 3, wrong way, promenade a quarter. Stand behind that couple. Who's in front of who? Zoom. Who's in front of who? Who are the trailers? There's a new word you've introduced. Trailers, step in between that couple. You didn't have to say spread, but you did it. Now I can side call. Everything is back symmetrical. Star through. Centers pass through. Everybody pass through. Trade by. Shout hallelujah. Alley man to left. Come back home square set. Okay, I'm going to do that same setup. I'm going to give you guys a chance to do something else, okay? Number 2 couple, stand back to back. Separate. Go round 2. Hook on, you got a line of 3. Go up to the middle and back. The adjacent same sexes. Now, if I say that in a foreign country, they don't know what adjacent means, and so you better help them by saying something. The closest same sexes or whatever. I don't call this kind of stuff in Japan because a lot of times they don't understand what the word adjacent means. They know square dance words, but not English words a lot. So these couples that are same sexes work as couples, and those 6 flutter wheel. Oh, I changed it on them, didn't I? Last time I did reverse, this time I did something else. Let's get out of this by you guys coming up with an idea to call something that's maybe going to be a little different. Before I go any further, let's have the couple number 1 that has their back to me. Would you go down the middle and split that pair? He go left around 1, she go right around 2. Okay. Did I say around 1 or around 2? Okay, this is great. I wish I never got into this. Here we are, line of 6, go up to the middle and back. Take it, Vernon. Okay. Notice, to get something symmetrical out of this gang, I know I got a girl, 2 guys, and a girl here in this line of 4. All I need to do is somehow get that couple with 2 boys and 2 girls in that line of 4, and I'll probably be happy as can be. So I'm going to say, number 4 couple, would you promenade the wrong way, go around 1 person? Squeeze in, line of 8. Go up to the middle, then you come right back. Work on your own side. Bend the line. Good. Square through 2. I wish I hadn't done this. Partner trade. Pass through. Wheel and deal. Those in the middle pass through. Let's get out of this. Swing through. Centers trade. I need to do a call where I can get so that I got like a boy run or a girl run or something like that. Right now in that far wave, I can't do the boys run. So I'll say in the far wave, centers trade. All the boys run. Who are the leaders? All the leaders trade. Up to the middle and back. I'm breathing again. Star through, but I'm not home yet. Okay? Veer to the left. bend the line, pass through, bend the line, star through, pass to the center. Those in the middle do a right and left through. Did the outsides trade like they're supposed to? Now, I've got to be memorizing all 8 people. I notice my number 1 guy over there. He's in the middle, but the head guy is out there behind him. So the heads, I think there's 3 head people over there that are very close, aren't they? All the 3 heads over in the far box, raise your hands. See who they are? Those are heads. There's 1 girl in the middle. Centers, reverse your flutter. Now I've got all the heads there in the middle. I mean, heads over in the far box. I got the sides in this box closest to me. They're paired up. All I need to do is go back and do what I did before. Square through 3 in the middle. Trade. I've matched up partners, haven't I? As couples circulate. In the line closest to me, the couples trade. Bend the line. Thank the Lord, Alaman left. Now, that might have been going over the line, obviously, with people that couldn't handle that kind of choreography. But don't be afraid to try some of that stuff. It's fun. It's challenging for me to get into some of that stuff. But I tell you what, if you're not doing it with a home group, you're going to end up getting really in trouble. Do it with your checkers. This is some stuff that you can't write with computers. But I've showed you a couple of little short ideas that you might be able to do. You want to pick up on this and run with it, Vernon?
One of the things that I want to touch on, there's no way in the world I'm going to do the things that Randy's doing because my mind just doesn't work that way. I was talking to a caller last night, and we were talking about variations of grand square, and I said that a lot of times that I'll use, the definitions say that you can designate different people to face, such as heads face, but you can also designate people just like the boys face. And grand square, and he looked at me like I was an idiot. And so if it's okay with y'all, I'd just like to give a quick show through and a walkthrough of what this is like. Some of y'all may remember the CALLERLAB convention out in Los Angeles several years ago, where the Chinese dancers came in and they had a dance where the Chinese caller called the boys face grand square, and you should have seen the mess that happened when that happened. So all the boys face your partner. Have y'all all done, in this square done a boys face grand square like this before? You're comfortable with it? You used to do girls' face? Okay, well then if you're doing girls' face, then you're just starting off at the halfway point here. Okay? And watch how each one of them does they're going to stay in their own little box, keeping in mind just a real simple general rule that if you're close to somebody and you can't walk forward, you've got to back away from them. Okay? If the person in front of you is far away, that you can walk forward. So the boys are going to start off by backing up, and the girls are going to start off by walking forward. Okay? Ready? Y'all do a grand square. Go. And you go 1, 2, 3 and turn, and then 1, 2, 3 and turn, and 1, 2, 3 and turn, and 1, 2, 3 and turn. And then of course you just simply reverse it from here. Okay? Go ahead and do that. Okay, and what a lot of times the guys will do, the girls don't usually do this when they come into the middle, but back home when the guys, they get used to doing that, they come into the middle and do a high five. And it really works out cool when they do that. The same can be held true if the girls simply face. If the girls face, do what?
Let's have them repeat that over the mic, Vernon. Elmer?
Yes. Elmer Cleckham, go ahead.
Real important to know at the last step of a grand square turns to face in to do a lot of the variations on grand square.
In other words, after you've done grand square and the people that have done the reverse part and come back, are they supposed to be still facing each other, or do they face flagpole center? They face the flagpole center.
They face into the set and get ready for the next call. Otherwise, the side would just continually be facing, wouldn't they?
And that's what happens when you do that kind of stuff. If the boys don't remember to face back in after they reversed it, you still end up T-boned.
Mm-hmm. What's your name?
Bosco Bossler from Idaho. We have a caller up there that called us, but he would help us a little by saying, ladies or men, face your partner's shoulder. And it would give us just a little bit more than men facing.
Oh, that's an excellent point. If you say men's face, and a lot of times cold, the men will have a lot of trouble. Dancers will have a lot of trouble on which way to face. So that's an excellent point. So, for example, in this square right here, girls face your partner's shoulder. Was that a little more explicit? Did that help? You know which way to go. Yeah. Okay, ready?
Before you do that, Vernon,
yes,
I've also had just the exact reverse opposite, where I said not that same terminology. I'll say, boys, look at your girl's shoulder, and they did this. I just turned my head 90 degrees to the right for the tape. So you gotta be really self-explanatory what you exactly want them to do.
Exactly. Anyway, let's see what it looks like with the girls here. Girls face your shoulders partner and grand square.
You want to repeat that again, please? For the
girls face your shoulders partner. They knew what I meant.
Oh, yeah. That's like a lady's chain or a Chinese lane.
Chinese lane, exactly right. Okay, girls face your partner's shoulder and grand square, go. Notice that they're all staying in their own little square. They're not really going anywhere, and they're all doing the same part of a grand square that they would normally do. They're just, the starting point is different, isn't it? So, yeah, the grand square has 32 parts on it. So
the brain cells are working overtime.
3 steps early.
Question.
State your name, Bob.
Bob Rollins from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. That's a fun gimmick thing to play with, but the problem that I have with it is that when I'm teaching grand square, I say there's 2 people you have to worry about, your opposite and your partner. And when you do that, there's no opposite to play with. It's just, and you have to be right on that beat to go around and do that. There's no music. Well, there's a classic fun thing that you can do at grand square, and it's like everybody face your corner and give them a big old yellow rock and say, honey, I won't forget you. You do that part. The next thing is couple number 1 and couple number 2. Pay attention now. Do a right and left through. The other 2 ladies chain. I've got everybody working, right? New couple number 1 and couple number 3. Do a right and left through. And the other 2 ladies chain. New couple number 3. I'm here. I'm 62. I went on a break. I just got back. New couple number 3 and 4. Do a right and left through, and the other 2 ladies chain it. That's the one I left out, right? Okay. Now here's where it goes. Side space, grand square, go. 2, 3. Element left to your corner. Come back. Well, I did it wrong then, didn't I? I went too far, didn't I? It's 1 and 2. New 1 and 3, new 1 and 4, and then square them up again, please. Please, bear with me, gang. It's worth writing down. Trust me. It's just my brain went on a break. 1 and 2, right and left through, please. The other 2 ladies chain. Go. Hustle, hayoko. New couple number 1 and couple number 2, do a right and left through, and the other 2 ladies chain. Go. New 1 and 2, the other ladies, that's great. I'm liking this already. I did it.
Yeah,
all right so far?
Yeah, you're still back home.
Huh?
Everyone's still home.
What did I do?
You just repeated what you said.
I'm sorry. Okay. Let's start at the
beginning. This is your last chance, Bob.
All right, thank you. 1 and 2, right and left through, and the other 2 ladies chain. I just woke up. New couple number 1 and 3, do a right and left through, and the other 2 ladies chain. I'm here now. New couple number 1 and 4, do a right and left through, and the other 2 ladies chain. If you ever keep up with this, you're with me. I don't know. Side space. Grand square. Go. 2, 3, 4. Element left your corner.
I love it, Bob.
I was there. I just went to sleep.
Yeah. That just proves the point that if you're going to do that kind of memory stuff, and he said he's taken off, what? He hadn't called for a while or whatever?
No, I just went on a break.
Oh, you just took a senior moment. I've been calling some of this gimmicky memorized stuff, and, man, I tell you, you better be really sharp when you're calling that because you can look, with mud on your face there. So I always have all of these memory things, just little notes on the side. So if I do have a... Yep, got to be on the mic.
I saw that about 6 years ago, and I said, I know that works when you're doing that grand square thing. And what's interesting is it makes everybody do something rather than isolating 2 or 3 dancers to play with and then move over. And this thing, you've got 2 couples doing right and left through, and the other ones are chaining, so you're actually interacting with more of the squares, what I was trying to get at.
This is a neat singing call figure using the same idea. Sides, face your partner. No, this is how it goes. Heads. I had a senior moment. Heads, square through 4. Sides, face your partner, grand square. Heads, you're looking out, cloverleaf. Sides, keep going. Heads, come down the middle, pass through. Sides, get ready to reverse. Heads, cloverleaf. Sides, reverse. Heads, come down the middle, square through 3. Sides, don't forget, you're supposed to face in when we're home, and now you can do the corner swing, and that's a singing call figure. That's nice. That times out great. Vernon? Oh, Elmer's got a question.
Well, this is not a question, but I love to do grand square in just unbelievable number of different ways, and the whole key is doing it exactly the way the call is defined. If we may, heads star through, sides face, Okay, definition of grand square is whenever you're close to someone, you start backing up. You must also remember that last beat of music, you turn and face in. Okay, grand square. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, reverse. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, square through 3. They did it wrong. Well, you would have been there, and let's square it up again. All right, now do the call exactly the way it is taught. Okay, head, star through. Sides, face, grand square. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, reverse. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, turn. Square through 3.
Now don't turn in on the last turn.
Don't turn. You're facing in. Square through 3. Alan went left.
I think the high altitude is the problem.
Okay. Now the other part, to make it work, to do all these things in grand square, is remember where you are on a set number of steps. Sides, face, grand square, 6 steps. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, you have lines of 4. Okay? And once you get those 2 concepts, there is no end to what you can do with grand square.
You can square your set again, gang.
Station 9.
Walt Cooley, Pacific Grove, California. In a conversation with another caller, and I don't remember what it is, memory's good, especially in the West, there's this craze about 4x4 vehicles. You know, we got a lot of pavement in California, but everyone's got a 4-wheel drive. You can apply that to grand square. You got to tell people what you're doing. For example, grand square, 8x16. 8 steps one way, 16 back. You can do some really nifty things with that. For example, if you get the couples opposite their original position, half sashayed, and call grand square 8 steps, reverse from there, you come back to your corner with your bucket stirred.
Heads, box the net, back away. Sides, box the net, back away. Is this the setup you're talking about, Walt? They're all across from home. They're all side shade.
I think so, if my memory is right. Let's see. Sides face. Grand square. 8 steps. Reverse.
Reverse 16, did you say?
Yes, 16. I stirred the bucket to the left, I think. Or no, I got ladies out.
Yeah.
Ladies are out, yeah.
Yeah.
I should have chained the ladies first before I put them back to back.
All 8.
But you see the concept.
All 8, reverse your flutter. Be patient, girls. Yeah. Sweep a quarter, everybody, and you're home. Okay.
I'm Lon Farrell from Murphy's, California. You can avoid that, the net figure that you did where you had it coming into the middle and square through 3, and I tell them ahead of time, those coming into the middle square through 3, and it avoids that problem they face the wrong way.
Yeah. Especially after we just told everybody you had to face flagpole center.
Yeah.
Right, that's what.
But you have to tell them ahead of time.
Yeah. Again, this is stuff that you want to use with reservations depending on what's the competency level of your group that night.
I'll suggest that if you teach grand square correctly, you can do these things the very first night that you ever teach it. You'll have more trouble as you go out and call it with regular dancers. You got to break them because they've forgotten how far to go, when to turn, and it's like you take a club, the old story of, whop them up alongside of the head and go back to first night of class, and then they'll be fine.
Ready to go back? Did you have something that retains to this, or?
I got one more, though.
Okay.
There's something else that you
all right.
like a little asymmetric thing. Somebody did this recently.
Let's try to stay away from the asymmetric stuff, okay?
Okay, I don't want who to give credit to, but you remember the daisy chain, the forward 2, backward 1, forward 2,
What's your
backward
name,
1?
sir?
Kenny Ferris, Laurel, Maryland. This is a grand square like a daisy chain. You forward 2 sides and backward 1. So in other words, forward 8 steps. But so sides face, Grand square. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, don't turn, reverse. 1, 2, don't turn, reverse. 1, 2, 3, turn. 1, 2, 3, don't turn. 1, 2, 3, don't turn. 1, 2, 3, reverse. 1, 2, no, you're home. There you go.
Get this
I didn't mean to say reverse.
I love it. Very good. I can't wait to try that with my C1 group. Oh my God, the daisy chain. Let's have watch what happens here. Head star through, spread. I know we're talking mainstream, but we could get there. Pass through, wheel and deal. Zoom. Very rarely are the two girls that are in that bow position used to turning left, but of course if you practice it you can get them doing that. Boys work as a couple, do-so-do. My very first night, I'm working with this, and I'll say, boys, work as a couple and do-so-do a quarter. Go. You just showed them veer left and using that basic of do-so-do. Okay? Boys, veer right. Everyone pass through. Boys, you turn back. Girls as a couple, do-so-do. Once and a quarter. And you've just taught them, almost taught them, veer left, okay, from there. No, girls, I was saying what we had done, okay. Girls veer right, and now you're back to back, okay. Girls, you turn back. Zoom. Boys, do-so-do. I didn't say as couples. And you can guarantee you're going to get them a hiccup. And especially the way I do it is I put the boys in there and I make them do as couples, as couples, as couples. I put the girls in there and then say, girls, do-so-do. And they've been paying so close attention, they will do an as couples, do-so-do. And it's a little bit of a way of getting creativity plus a little bit of comedy relief sometimes. All right. Boys pass through, star through, and as couples, zoom. Holy moly. So, you know, if you're going to do that kind of thing, how do you get them prepared? How do you get them prepared in order to do that? That's how the art of being creative and not losing the group. Do a couples trade. Bend the line. Touch a quarter. What if we start doing zooms from like this setup? If I was to do zoom from here, I'd have what I figure is a high risk of losing some because the girls very rarely zoom left. It's the men that normally zoom left, isn't it? From a standard application. So circulate the people first, and now you can say, boys, you're the leader, work in your own box, zoom. They're going to work to the left, grab a new girl by the right. All right. Now, if you're going to have those girls do it, make sure that you probably have them go in the other direction. Everyone circulate twice. Everyone's got something soft and warm. All right. All the girls, all of you do a U-turn back. Everybody circulate. Now the girls are ready, and they're in their usual type of a zoom pattern where they're going to the right. And I could do that zoom thing, okay? Let's do a zoom. Girls, you're the leaders in your own box. Grab his left. Everybody circulate. Now, I've played around with this at mainstream. You got to be really careful. What if you said girls only half a zoom? Well, if you did that, are the men supposed to be stepping forward half the distance? No. So you got to be careful how you're going to say it. Girls only do a half a zoom. Boys step up and trade with each other. You got away with it. You called really a little A1 variation there called peel and trail. And when you're getting around to your advanced people and getting ready to teach them peel and trail, you could use the half a zoom type action as what the peeling action is. Okay? Boys run around the girls. Okay, who are the trailers? Trailers step in between the lead couple. Girls, you're back to back in the middle. Boys, as a couple, fold. Now, when you start doing those kinds of things, if you can get the boys as a couple of fold, then you're on the road to success to trying to get them to do as a couple zooms and stuff like that, okay? Star through. Who are the trailers? Who are the leaders? Trailers, put trailers in. Boys, you're in the middle. You're back to back. Give them a hint. Girls work individually, cross fold. The center girl will go to the far guy. Look, listen to what I said, honey. Go back where you were. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Go back where you were, honey. I'm the caller. All right. Girls work individually, cross fold. The center girl go to the far guy. That's a cross fold for the girls. Girls, go undo what you just did.
Randy, what is it? What was that called?
That was a crossfold.
No, the last one.
Undo what you just did. Yeah, undo. Girls work as a couple now and fold, and notice the girls are doing something totally different. Okay. Star through. You can get as creative as you want to be, gang, but you got to help the people make it through that kind of stuff. Okay. Leaders trade. There is a time limit. Do a right and left through. So bring in new terms to kind of even out everybody. If you've got a floor that has got a lot of different, you might have plus people there and mainstream people there, bring in a term that's going to even out everything. And then everyone is back to zero base. Okay, you guys are probably getting tired. You want to rest? Sit down, if you would. Give them a hand. Any other comments, questions, or Vernon, you want to?
Yeah,
here we have one.
That was just exactly what I was going to ask. But
one of the things that we seem to have as I'm sorry, Dick Mazziotti. One of the things that we seem to have as a call that is used only not very creatively is stars. Can you guys play with stars a little bit?
I love stars. How many people remember Max Forsyth? He had a thing that he called the Dixie Cup chain, which was based on stars. And I don't know if is there anybody here that remembers the sequence, Frank? Did you ever do it? I think it went something like this. Heads to the middle and then back up. Put your right hand into the center for a Dixie cup. They called it a Dixie cup. Star by the right, 3/4. When you meet your same sex, that'll be the side positions. This number 1 boy is now looking at the number 2 boy. Okay? That's where his star 3/4 turn is. And the number 1 lady is now looking at the 1, 2, 3. She's looking over there at the 2 lady. Okay? So they're still with each other. Now, with the same sex, make left-hand stars. Turn the stars 1 full turn and 1/4 more, and the sides, or halfway more, I think. Then you have the sides come into the middle, star by the right. 1 full turn and 1/4 more. Meet your opposite sex. Make a left-hand star. Turn that star, I think it's 1 1/4 or something like that. You'll have to go back and look at what it is, but it's really interesting choreography using stars. And using the words meet the same sex mate or meet the opposite sex helps these people enough that you can call a Dixie Cup chain without ever teaching it on the floor, not even a walkthrough. But they have to know how to star by the right 3/4, and a lot of times that's confusing. Okay? Another thing that I do with the stars is, for instance, this sequence, I think, head square through 3. Promenade to the right single file 1/4. The sides pass through, make a right-hand star. So now, if the heads did face in, they're ready to make a star already, okay? Turn that star, right-hand star, a full turn. All the girls come into the middle, make a left-hand star. Boys keep going the way you are. It's a timing pattern. Keep going till you find your partner. Pass her by once. Next time you meet, slide through your home. Something like that. I'm not sure if that's the exact memory pattern or not, but those are some things that I've done with stars. Don't ever do this, though. Sides go up to the middle and come on back. Star by the left. Because as soon as you say the word star, they're doing star through. So, and I've called this sequence, heads make a left-hand star, turn it 1 full turn, look at your corner, something like that. Make a right-hand star, turn it 1 full turn, heads come back to the middle, make a left-hand star, turn it halfway across, look at the other sides, do a right and left through, the old chicken plucker thing, pass through, trade by. Those are some things that I do with stars.
Rich Kierman, California. There's a very nice singing call. Heads square through, make a right-hand star, head star left in the middle. Pick up your corner, star promenade.
So the star is 1 full turn in the middle. Yeah.
Right. Back out, circle to the left. Don't change a thing, because at that point, 2 of your couples are half sashayed. You've got boy, boy, girl, girl circles.
I think
and they will want desperately to make it right. Swing the nearest girl and promenade.
Yeah. Isn't that the old Blue Moon of Kentucky that Flippo did?
Highway 40 Blues as well.
Yeah. Well, he probably researched it. From the Blue Moon of Kentucky guy. Somebody wrote it for Flippo. Was that you, Ernie?
Jerry Mitchell from Texas. We don't use too many three-handed stars either. So something that's kind of fun to do is to have the heads pass the ocean and the ladies cast off 3/4 and make a star with the side couples and turn it full around.
Oh, I like that.
And then and if you do that, have the head boys do a U-turn back, girls come back to the middle, and all 4 of you make a star, turn it a half. Head ladies go back out to the other sides and make a star.
Oh, you just lost me there.
Yeah. Turn it all the way back around. The head gents do a U-turn back, and the ladies come into the middle and cast off 3/4. You're back in a quarter tag.
I have no idea what he just said.
Huh?
I have a question for
good
some of the no other way to say it. Some of the old farts have been calling for a long time. When you did stars, does the definition actually say to face in after their stars? Anybody make a comment on that? So if you say heads make a right-hand star, do they keep the hand in the middle or do they drop it? Do they actually face in at their home position? You know, I've read the definitions over and over and over, and I'm wondering, is there something in the preface or somewhere in the what do they call that? The glossary. They always say, well, it's in the glossary somewhere. Frank or Flip or any of you guys saying
Flip, he was talking to you. Can you answer that?
Yes.
You know, to me, if you said the heads make a right-hand star and turn it a full turn, I guess I would think that they would be right back where they started from, facing in the in position. If you had the heads pair off more or less, go into the middle and face your corner, make a right-hand star, and turn it one full turn, I guess I would expect them to be in that same position. We have gone into where we now need to teach new people the singing call figure, make a right-hand star, and heads come back to the middle star by the left, because if you don't show them that, they're not going to make it, because that star that comes back into the middle is not really turning it one full turn with the outside. It's really more like turning it, 3/4 or 7/8 or, 25, 30 seconds. So we have to teach that type of a sequence. I think that was the one you were talking about, except now pick up your corner with an arm around the star promenade and all of that.
We about reached the end of our allotted time. Bob, you got your hand up before I said that, so I'll let you ask a question, then we need to wrap up.
I think the key is, and wait for the next call. But last night, watching those wonderful Canadians up there calling, I saw something that you're talking about stars. It's very common. He had the 4 ladies go in and star by the right, and then he went into a do paso, and it was so beautiful. I thought it was nice to mention star stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Flippo thought of the answer now. He's going to share the answer with all of us.
That's your name.
My name is Frank Lane.
Frank Lane.
I don't think they could have picked 2 better guys to hold this meeting. I used to, when Randy was at Dougherty, we'd go over and do a couple of things together each year. And first year we went over, we started with our beginners, and then we went to mainstream, and then went to plus, all in one evening. And I get over there and take my beginners over there, and Randy's getting them through stuff that I thought, why in the hell didn't I think of that, But he was getting them through unbelievable stuff that I stole. And
can I interrupt you?
Okay.
The problem was when I called him, I said, "We'll do this dance," and I started my beginner started in November. He started his in January. The dance was the 2nd or 3rd week of January, and I said, "I got my people up through Ferris wheel. Where are you at?" And so he taught them square through 4 and swing through, and the boys run and Ferris wheel, and they were really good at that. But if you said the men star by the right, they'd look at you kind of funny.
That's right, but y'all had a real good session, Vernon.
I thank you. Speaking from Vernon and for me and a lot of the callers that are out here trying to make a full-time, if we had not had mentors like Flippo, Frank Lane, the old guy, Ernie Kenny, and some of these other guys that are in here, I probably would have quit long time ago without being inspired by these guys. Give those guys a big hand, please.
Yeah, hang on to what you got, even though we're getting close to time. When Flippo and Frank raise their hands and have something to say, we acknowledge them.
Frank Lane from Flippo's right-hand seat. Not into the exotic stuff that you've been doing, but I get kind of tired of heads square through and go out and make a star, or heads star with the right and go out and star left, this sort of thing. And just a couple of little quick gimmicks there. If you'll just have the heads pass the ocean and swing through, and the boys fold in behind the girls, no, in this case it's girls fold in behind the boys, make a left-hand star in the middle. You've gotten them once around, or almost once, about a step less than a full turnaround. You've got them to their corner where you would normally get there with a square through. And to me, it just adds a little variety without being difficult. I guarantee you can get them to do that.
Say it one more time. People are writing, Frank.
Okay, heads just past the ocean. Swing through. Girls fold in behind the boys. You four make a left-hand star. They're in the left-hand star almost immediately anyway. Turn that star, look for your corner. Like I say, it's not quite a full turnaround. Mm-hmm. It's about one step short of a full turnaround to get to your corner. Then go into your figure that you were normally going to do with a square through four and make a right-hand star with the outside too. If you want the outsides in a left-hand star, then you can set it up with the heads. Ladies lead Dixie style to an ocean wave. Boys trade. Do a left swing through. Boys fold in behind the girls. Make a right-hand star. Turn that star, and you've turned it up just almost a full turn, and you're coming to your corner, but now you're ready to make a left-hand star with the outside, too. Get outs from those side stars, too. If you've got them out there in a right-hand star, if it's a normal right-hand star where you started with your corner, and you made a right-hand star, you can have the heads, if they're the actives, you can bring the heads back into the middle with a reverse flutter. Boys go across, pick up your partner.
I like that.
Sweep a quarter, you're back home. That's the reason I want the left-hand star, too, because if I make that left-hand star that we mentioned, turn the star once around, ladies go in the center for a flutter wheel. Sweep a quarter, and you're back home. So those are just simple things. They're not near as... You guys have done some great exotic choreography that I wish I'd have thought of. But you see what I'm talking about? Like I say, just a couple of simple things that you can do with most any mainstream dancer. They don't have to be great. They don't have to be as tuned in. I love to see you doing the grand square variations, because the grand square variations not only will teach some interesting choreography, but they've got to do the grand square in 32 steps. They've got to step 4 to a side. But if they start shortcutting it, the next move for them is go back home and regroup. And I love that. And I was interested to see you do the fractional grand squares into lines of 4, because I do a lot of that. And I think you did it with 6 steps into a line of 4. 10 steps will work too, anytime they're coming by that point. 6 steps is real easy. So they can find that because you can stop them. 10, if they're cheating and not doing the 4 steps to a side, then they're a little lost and confused. And that really emphasizes, use those 4 steps, 3 steps and a turn. Thank you, Vern.
I usually say 5.5 steps.
No, thank you, Frank. I want to remind everybody that if you didn't get a chance to write all this down, that this session is being taped, and this tape is available over at Convention Tapes International over in the vendor booth, and be sure to go by and get one if you didn't. Also, as are many of the other tapes, including the after party session, is also taped. So
yeah, he's been giving me a bad time because they haven't sold the 2 that he recorded so far. So.
Well, Scott said that the after-party tape wasn't selling very well, and Randy accused him of making too many copies, and Scott said, I only made 2. So remember that those tapes are available over there to sale. Before we break, we appreciate each and every one of y'all being here, but most especially give a nice hand to Randy Dougherty for doing the fine job.
And your moderator also, Vernon Jones.
There's nothing to being a moderator. If you ever get asked to being a moderator, just go ahead and accept it, because all you do is make a few statements, introduce everybody, and then walk around with a microphone in your hand. So enjoy the rest of the convention, and everybody go break.